Welcome back to Portland Today, a penny pinchers segment on your Monday that focuses on the fact that we're turning into the fall season. I mean, fall is obviously officially here, and if you listen to the great Rodney Hill, rain arrives tomorrow, and by the looks of that 7-day forecast, there is no end in sight to the rainfall. So we'll see how that all plays out. But we want to talk about winterizing your home. So Stephen Mayer joins us from Better Business Bureau Northwest. Let's start with the inside of our home, and I'm thinking winter, I'm thinking furnace. What should we do to prepare our furnace for the winter months?
Absolutely. You want to get that thing serviced now before the really cold weather hits,
right? I mean, every year you have to do that?
You want to do it once a year. Yeah, you really do. For safety reasons, if not anything else, but also utility costs. If it's not running correctly, it's going to cost you a lot more money over the length of the winter. So get that service now. We just had it done a few weeks ago, less than $200. Super easy. They come in, they clean it, they make sure everything's running properly, and then you just have that peace of mind for the rest of winter.
What about insulating our heat ducts? Is that something you really need to do?
Yeah, you're asking me off camera, do we really have to get down in the basement, wrap those things up? Well, the DOE says that about 60% of energy loss comes from those ducts because, you know, before that warm air ever shoots out of the vents, it's going through all those ducts. So any leaks there, any inefficiencies there can really cost you a lot of money. So have the furnace guys take a look at your ducts while they're coming out.
So what you're saying is if I don't want to spend the money and I want to be lazy, I can just let them go?
Yes, yes, you can do that. You might be a little colder though.
How about using an accredited business? Because whatever work is being done inside the home, you want to make sure you're using an accredited business. How do I know that this business really is what they say they are?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to start with trust. These people are coming into your homes. They may be on your roof if you're getting a roof repaired or something like that. They're on your property. You have to be able to trust them. And of course, these projects aren't cheap. They're several $100s, if not more. So you want to start with trust. Look for the seal on their website, the BBB seal. If they're an accredited business, or of course, you can just go to bbb.org, type in a search bar there for whatever you're looking for.
Maybe this is too basic a question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Why is it so important for the business to be accredited? Because maybe I'm like, Johnny does a pretty good job.
Yeah,
he's not accredited.
And maybe they are. Maybe they're doing a great job. There's a ton of businesses out there who aren't accredited, who are still doing the right thing, but they are living up, our accredited businesses are living up to 13 higher standards of trust. So we review them, we vet them, we make sure they're doing the right things in the communities.
You mentioned someone getting up on my roof, so maybe we should switch our focus to the outdoors.
Yes.
The furnace, let's say the furnace is now in good shape, but we're worried about gutters and things of this nature. What should we really be focusing on outside the home to get ready for winter?
Get that ladder out now before the rain arrives. Check those gutters. Last thing you want is, because it's fall right now,
sure,
the leaves are coming down, right? So those gutters could be clogged up. Big rainstorm comes and all of a sudden that water's pouring out over your gutters. It's getting into the soil right near your foundation, and that can cause some structural problems down the line. So clear those gutters now.
I was going to ask you about that because some people go, oh, my gutters are clogged. Now the rain is pouring down the window, but right, it goes beyond just that in terms of possible damage.
Yeah, you want to keep that rain away from your foundation, away from the soil surrounding that foundation, because that can cause a lot of shifting, some cracking, a lot of problems, and it'll cost a lot of money.
Trees and heavy brush, things of this nature, I'm thinking they're starting to die. The leaves are starting to fall. Maybe they're not really an issue.
We see it right there, right? We know how severe the winter was last year with all the ice, all the snow. A little bit of ice on those branches can cause a lot of extra weight. If they're over power lines, they come crashing down. You've knocked out power, not to just your home, but possibly the whole neighborhood. You don't want to be that guy, right?
Right. We show you those pictures so you don't become that guy.
Right. You don't want KGW showing up at your door when there's a tree down on your house or anything like that. So make sure you trim back those trees now.
He's not that guy. He's this guy. He's Stephen Mayer, Better Business Bureau, Pacific Northwest, and thank you again for joining us. Kathy and Rod standing by for more.
I got out of that. The winter's going to be bad and my house is going to fall apart. What did you get out of that, Kathy?
Take your steps now with accredited business. Look for the BBB symbol, right? We have more Money Matters on a Monday. That's kind of a tongue twister. You know, when you're faced with an emergency at home, in the family, medical maybe, you might think about dipping into your retirement savings. And we wanted to run that by Danny Harlow with Harlow Wealth Management. And I know, Danny, you've come up with 4 ways to kind of avoid having to dip into the retirement savings. But I start off with this question, and that is there ever an appropriate time to dip in?
The simple answer is no. You don't want to dip into your retirement. Number one, a lot of people don't end up paying back that money from the retirement, so it kind of puts them behind. They may pay back the loan, but then they've lost that time that they can continue to accumulate for retirement.
But what happens if something happens, an emergency, it's going to cost me $10,000. The only place I have $10,000, let's say, is in a 401k. You telling me it's better to take out a loan of some sort instead of get into the 401k money?
Usually it is because a lot of people don't pay back those 401k loans, and as a result that becomes a distribution out of the accounts that they have to pay taxes, and if they're under 59 and a half, they also have to pay a 10% federal penalty.
Yeah, it can get costly. So let's go through the 4 tips for starting that emergency fund, and you say budgeting basics to begin with.
Well, budgeting is probably one of the most painful things I try to get people to do that are baby boomers. Predominantly, people really don't know where they're spending their money, and you need to know. On our website at harlowwealth.com, we have a budget checklist. It's a good place for people to start so you can start seeing where you're spending your money and where you might be able to save some dollars as well. But get that budget going so you know exactly where you're spending your money, because one place I really find people spend a lot of extra money is eating out. We spend a lot of money eating out these days, and if you could just save a little bit by not eating out so much, you'll have that savings.
Yeah. In terms of an emergency fund, something else you talk about, how much am I talking? Am I talking have 2 months rent in there? Or what's my basis to set up an emergency
The basic rule of thumb has always been about 6 months.
6 months of income. So
6
that's a
months
lot of money.
income. It is a lot, but 6 months will last you longer than 6 months, because if you've lost your job, you're going to find yourself maybe not eating out quite as often. You won't be spending quite as much for those luxury items and stuff, so it will last a little bit longer.
Your other tips, check your habits, automate, and bank newfound income. Take us through those last 2, automate and banking newfound income.
Where do I get newfound income?
Well, you do have newfound income. A lot of times people will get a raise, and you're not used to spending that raise at this particular time, so treat yourself and take that raise and pay yourself, as well as paying off a car loan. Some of these car loans that people have out there are several hundreds of dollars, and if you get that paid off, turn around and pay it yourself. If you need some of that income, try to save half of it at least.
And then automating.
Well, automate is like your 401k. The reason that people's 401ks or like programs work so well is because it comes out of their paycheck before they get it first.
Right.
Do the same thing for your savings. Take a little bit out of there. Also, change your withholdings. If you're getting a big tax refund, you can take that tax refund and pay yourself.
And most banks or credit unions, I can set up a withdrawal that will go right into an account.
Absolutely. In fact, most banks out there today have a budget section online, so they actually will record and categorize the money that you're spending, and it's quite an eye-opener to see where you're spending your money.
All right, so what you need to take away from this, Rod, is the big raise you're getting, have it withdrawn and live on the same amount you're living on now.
Okay, what I took away from this is that I'm broke.
Danny Harlow with Harlow Wealth Management. More information at, you mentioned, harlowwealth.com.
That's correct.
All right, we're back with more Portland Today.